Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. Have you ever wondered how far power can reach, to the point where even truth itself becomes forbidden? For more than 20 days, investigators, journalists, and millions online searched for the name behind Menglong's mysterious death. And when it finally surfaced, it wasn't a celebrity, nor a rival, but a man carrying the blood of three of China's most powerful political families. Tonight on Update X24H, we uncover the chilling truth behind the name that changed everything. Li Ming, also known as Ji Guangguang. Behind the dazzling lights of China's entertainment industry, where fame and fortune intertwine, there lies a shadowed world few dare to speak of. A realm ruled by silence, influence, and fear. Within that world emerges a name whispered only in guarded conversations. Li Ming, also known as Ji Guangguang, the man believed to be the hidden architect behind the tragedy of Menglong. To the public, Li Ming seemed like an ordinary businessman, quiet, almost forgettable. Yet those who knew of his origins understood that he was anything but ordinary. Li Ming was born into privilege so deep that it blurred the line between destiny and design. His bloodline carried the weight of three of China's most powerful political families. His father, Liu Tianran, held a significant position within the Xinqing bloodline union, a discreet network connecting the descendants of former revolutionary leaders and military elites. His mother, Li Yi, once a beloved figure skating champion in Hong Kong, came from a lineage steeped in prestige. But it was his grandparents who completed the circle of power. His maternal grandfather was Li Peng, the late premier of China, while his grandmother was a descendant of Yi Jianying, one of the country's founding generals. Li Ming was not merely born. He was constructed by history itself, an heir to influence and immunity. People who encountered him described a man of calm charisma, speaking softly yet radiating quiet dominance. His connections reached beyond politics into finance, media, and even law enforcement. Rumors claimed that he had access to intelligence circles and could erase names, files, and stories as effortlessly as deleting a message on a screen. To the world, he was invisible, yet his presence was everywhere. And when Menglong's name became entangled in controversy, it was this very web of privilege and secrecy that seemed to tighten. Li Ming never appeared publicly, never issued a statement, yet the atmosphere changed the moment his name surfaced. Journalists went silent, sources vanished, and witnesses withdrew their words. It was as if the air itself had grown heavier, suffocating any attempt to uncover the truth. Li Ming, born from power and protected by legacy, embodied the very paradox of authority, the idea that some lives exist above consequence. In him, the story of Menglong collided with the invisible machinery of influence, and from that collision, the world caught a glimpse of how far power can reach when it no longer fears the truth. The day Menglong was found lifeless remains etched in collective memory, as a moment that shattered the fragile illusion of safety within the entertainment world. It was a quiet morning when the news broke, an ordinary day that suddenly became extraordinary, not because of what was known, but because of what could not be explained. He was discovered alone, in circumstances far too strange to dismiss as coincidence. Around him lay fragments of mystery, objects that whispered of wealth, power, and something far more sinister. Among them were two Rolex watches, each worth nearly 73,000 Hong Kong dollars, both belonging to someone else. The name engraved within them pointed towards a man whose influence reached beyond the visible realm of society. Li Ming. At first, the public was told to accept that Yu's passing was a tragic accident, a sudden loss without malice. But silence can never completely hide the sound of truth when it struggles to breathe. Forensic reports revealed traces of foreign DNA under his fingernails, belonging to an individual with the surname Li. That single detail, small yet significant, unraveled the official story thread by thread. Within days, both the DNA report and the documentation about the watches disappeared from public records, erased as if they had never existed. The files were sealed. Journalists who asked too many questions were quietly warned, and social media discussions vanished overnight. Those close to you recalled how he had seemed uneasy in his final days, withdrawn, cautious, and perhaps aware of something greater than himself. He spoke of unfinished work, of truths that needed to come to light, though no one could have guessed the danger surrounding those words. After his death, neighbors described the presence of unfamiliar cars parked near his building and men in dark coats who came and went without speaking. Fear began to settle like fog, thick and unrelenting. The tragedy of Menglong was not merely the loss of a life but the death of transparency itself. It became a reflection of how power bends reality, how truth can vanish not with fire or force, but with quiet efficiency. Every unanswered question, every missing record, every silenced voice turned his death into something greater than one man's fate. It became a symbol of how truth struggles to survive in the shadows of influence. In the days that followed Menglong's death, an invisible curtain of silence began to descend, slowly, deliberately, suffocating everything in its path. It started with small things. A post removed here, a comment deleted there. Then entire discussion threads vanished overnight, replaced by blank pages and quiet warnings. Those who had dared to speak began to whisper instead, and those who had whispered learned the cost of saying anything at all. The noise of the world faded, leaving behind a chilling stillness, the kind that speaks louder than words. Among the few who refused to bow to fear was Professor Sundarong, Menglong's mentor and one of the last people who believed the truth still mattered. On his social media page he wrote a haunting message. "If anything happens to me, I did not take my own life." It was a sentence drenched in courage and despair, a man's attempt to leave a trace before the darkness swallowed him whole. Within hours his post disappeared. His accounts were wiped clean, his presence erased as if he had never existed. People began to realize that the silence was not natural, it was enforced. In neighborhoods, whispers replaced conversations. Those who had seen strange figures near you's home avoided eye contact. Some neighbors moved away without notice, while others locked their doors earlier than usual. Fear became a kind of contagion, spreading faster than truth could travel. Reporters who once chased the story began to pull back, their editors citing higher orders. The more questions were asked, the fewer answers remained. It was as if an invisible hand had reached out, pressing a finger to the lips of an entire city. What happened to Menglong was not just a tragedy, it was a lesson in how silence is manufactured. Power does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers calmly, efficiently, until no one dares to speak. The suppression that followed his death revealed something darker than any crime scene. It showed how truth can be strangled without leaving a mark, how fear becomes law when no one dares to break it. And in that silence, deeper than grief, one question lingered for those who still dared to think. What is left of justice when even words are forbidden? Amnesty International later released a report exposing how China's legal system had become a tool of political control, citing dozens of human rights cases where verdicts were predetermined. Out of 68 trials, only one person was found innocent. It was no longer about one actor's death. It was about a system that no longer listened. The world began to ask, if even the innocent cannot speak, who will protect the truth? And then came another twist, a woman. Tian Hairong, a former actress turned billionaire, known for her elegance, mystery, and an empire worth nearly 13 billion yuan. Online investigators claim she had spent over 50 million yuan in hush money to silence residents who witnessed the incident. Screenshots leaked on social media showed police documents stamped with her watermark, suggesting she had access to internal reports before anyone else. But who exactly was she? Years ago, Tian married Su Ming, a business tycoon tied to the powerful politician Bo Xilai. After Su's sudden death in prison, Tian inherited his empire and quietly re-entered the entertainment industry as a producer. Now whispers call her the Queen of Silence. What we see might just be the surface. Every missing file, every deleted post, every silenced witness paints the picture of a war fought not with guns, but with power, money, and fear. It's a reminder that behind the red carpets and flashing cameras, there exists an invisible line, one you must never cross. Menglong may have stepped too close to that line, but his story ignited something deeper, a movement of voices demanding the truth. They say silence protects the powerful, but silence also buries the innocent. Each person who dares to ask questions becomes a flicker of light in this darkness. And when enough of us speak, that light becomes impossible to extinguish. The story of Menglong is no longer just his. It belongs to every person who believes that truth, no matter how deeply buried, always finds its way back to the surface. Remember his name, not as a mystery but as a message. Never let silence win. Thank you for watching Update X24H, where stories untold find their voice. If this story moved you, share it, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more deep, truthful storytelling from across Asia and beyond. Your voice matters because together we keep the light alive. Stay tuned and see you in the next episode.